Okay, so retirement planning.
Um,
It can feel like
Yeah.
navigating a financial minefield, right? You spend years and
it
years
really can.
building that nest egg.
Absolutely.
But then there's that
Yeah.
nagging worry in the back of your mind.
Hmm.
What if it's not enough?
Right.
And that's where we come in today.
Yeah.
You've shared some great research on gold IRAs
Yes.
as a potential way to diversify your retirement portfolio.
That's right.
And we're ready to deep dive into it with you.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a smart move to be looking beyond
Yeah.
the traditional stocks and bonds.
I think so, especially with so much talk
Yeah,
about inflation and market volatility these days.
exactly. And the source you provided gives a really comprehensive overview of gold IRAs.
It does.
Like all the benefits, the misconceptions,
Mhm.
even tips on choosing the right provider.
It does.
But we're going to go
Yeah.
beyond the basics here.
Sounds good.
We're going to unpack the historical context
Okay.
of gold as an investment, explore its role in a modern portfolio,
Yeah.
and even delve into the
Right.
nitty-gritty of IRS regulations.
Details. Yeah. Sounds like we're about to strike gold with this deep dive.
Let's hope so.
I think we are.
Now, the source starts by highlighting a familiar concept,
Okay.
diversification.
Right.
We all know the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket,
Of course.
but it's easy to forget
Mhm.
when you're staring down the barrel of a 401k statement.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, and it's interesting to note that the concept of diversification
Okay.
isn't new even ancient civilizations.
Really?
Yeah, they recognize the importance of spreading their wealth
Okay.
across different assets. So things like land,
Interesting.
livestock, precious metals.
Wow.
It's a strategy that stood the test of time for a reason.
That's a great point. So how does gold fit into this?
Yeah.
Age-old diversification strategy.
Yeah.
This source argues that gold has historically acted as a hedge
Mhm.
against inflation and economic uncertainty.
Yes, and there's data to back that up.
Okay.
If you look at periods of high inflation,
Mm.
like the 1970s in the U.S.,
Oh, yeah.
gold significantly outperformed traditional assets,
Wow.
like stocks and bonds.
So it's not just about preserving wealth.
Right.
It's potentially about growing it
Exactly.
during times when other assets are struggling.
That's right. And that's why many investors consider
Yeah.
gold a safe haven asset.
Makes sense.
It tends to hold its value, even when the purchasing power
Uh.
of paper currencies declines.
But what gives gold this inherent stability?
Well,
This source uses the phrase intrinsic value,
right.
which sounds pretty powerful. Can you unpack that a bit for us?
Of course. Unlike paper money, which is essentially a promise
Okay.
backed by a government, gold is a tangible asset
Mm-hmm.
with a finite supply.
Yeah.
It's that scarcity combined with its historical significance
Right.
as a form of currency and a store of value
Mm-hmm.
that contributes to this perception of intrinsic value.
So it's not just a shiny metal.
Right.
It's a piece of history you
Yeah,
can hold in your hand.
exactly.
That's pretty compelling.
It is. And for many investors, that tangibility
Yeah.
offers a sense of security that you don't get with
All right.
digital assets or paper investments.
Okay, so we've established that gold has a history of stability
Yes.
and a potential role in a diversified portfolio.
All right.
But how does this translate into a gold IRA? What
Well,
exactly are we talking about here?
a gold IRA is essentially a self-directed IRA
Okay.
that allows you to hold physical gold,
Interesting.
bullion coins, or bars,
Okay.
instead of the traditional stocks, bonds, and mutual funds.
So it's still an IRA
Yes,
with all the same tax advantages and regulations, but
Right.
with a golden twist.
precisely.
Okay.
And there are two main types of gold IRAs,
Okay.
traditional and Roth.
Got it.
Both offer tax benefits, but they work a bit differently.
Let's break those down.
Okay.
A traditional gold IRA is similar to a traditional IRA.
It
Your contributions are tax deductible in the year you make them,
right.
but you pay taxes on your withdrawals in retirement.
Mhm.
Got it. So you get a tax break up front,
Exactly.
but you pay later.
Yeah.
What about a Roth Gold IRA?
With a Roth Gold IRA, you contribute after-tax dollars,
Okay.
meaning you don't get an immediate tax deduction.
Mm-hmm.
However, your qualified withdrawals in retirement are tax-free.
So you pay taxes now,
Right.
but enjoy tax-free income later.
Yes.
Interesting. Which one makes more sense for our listener?
Well, that depends
Yeah.
on their individual circumstances,
Of course.
their current income tax bracket,
Right.
and their projected tax bracket in retirement.
It's always good to have options, right?
Absolutely.
But let's be honest, some people hear gold IRA
Yeah,
and immediately think it's some kind of scam.
I can see that.
or a scheme reserved for
Yeah.
the ultra-wealthy.
Right.
This source addresses some of those
Mm.
common misconceptions.
And rightfully so.
Mhm.
There are unfortunately some shady operators out there who prey on people's fears
I bet.
and lack of knowledge.
Right.
But that's why it's crucial to separate
For sure.
the myths from the facts.
Absolutely. Let's tackle some of these myths head on.
Okay.
One I hear a lot is that gold IRAs are super expensive
Yeah.
and out of reach for the average investor.
Mm-hmm.
What does our source say about that?
This source debunks that myth quite effectively.
Okay.
It points out that gold IRA fees have become increasingly competitive in recent years,
Really?
making them accessible to a wider range of investors.
So it's not just a millionaire's playground anymore?
Not at all.
Mm.
In fact, many providers offer tiered fee structures
Interesting.
based on the size of your investment.
Oh.
You don't need a fortune to get started.
It's good to know. Another misconception is that gold is a risky investment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true that its price fluctuates,
Mm.
but is it really riskier than, say, the stock market?
That's a great question,
Yeah.
and it's one that deserves a nuanced answer. No investment is entirely risk-free, of course,
Right.
but gold has a long history of stability,
Yeah.
particularly when compared to more volatile assets
Mhm.
like stocks or cryptocurrencies.
And isn't that kind of the point of a gold IRA?
Yeah.
To provide a stable counterbalance
Exactly.
to the more volatile portions of your retirement portfolio.
It's about managing risk,
Okay.
not eliminating it entirely.
Okay, so we've busted a couple of myths.
Yes,
Gold IRAs aren't just for the rich.
right.
And gold itself has a strong track record of stability.
It does.
But what about the security of the gold itself?
Well,
This source mentions something about IRS-approved depositories.
that's a key point.
Okay.
You can't just store your gold IRA gold at home under the mattress.
Oh.
The IRS requires that it be held
Okay.
in a secure third-party depository
Okay.
that meets their stringent standards.
So it's not like a pirate's treasure chest.
Uh-huh. Unfortunately not.
Buried in your backyard.
But these depositories are designed to provide the highest level of security,
Okay.
the climate-controlled insured,
Mm-hmm.
and often have multiple layers of physical and electronic security.
That makes sense. I mean, we're talking about people's retirement savings here.
We are.
So security is paramount.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And choosing a reputable provider who works
Yeah.
with a trusted depository is essential.
So how do you choose the right provider?
Yeah.
It seems like a crucial step
It is.
in this whole process.
Yeah.
Luckily,
Luckily.
you have another source that dives into that very topic.
Yes. And it's packed with valuable insights.
Okay.
Let's explore that next.
I'm ready to dig deeper.
I am too. Choosing a gold IRA provider can feel
Oh, yeah.
like navigating a labyrinth.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, this source acts as our trusty guide.
Okay.
It breaks down the selection process into a few key areas.
Perfect. Because I imagine our listener is eager to know
Right?
how to avoid those shady operators we talked about earlier.
For sure.
What's the first thing to look for?
Reputation hands down.
Okay.
It's like choosing a surgeon.
Mm.
You wouldn't go to someone who just set up shop yesterday, would you?
Not unless I was feeling particularly adventurous.
Exactly.
But seriously, how do you gauge a gold IRA provider's reputation?
Think of it like due diligence
Okay.
for your retirement check. How long they've been in business,
Right.
what their customer reviews say,
Mm-hmm.
and if they've received any industry recognition or awards.
So scour the internet for testimonials,
Yeah.
complaints,
Exactly.
and maybe even some awards.
Look for signs of consistency,
Okay.
transparency, and positive customer experiences.
Got it.
It's also worth checking if they're accredited
Mm-hmm.
by the Better Business Bureau,
Okay.
a sign they adhere to ethical business practices.
Okay. Reputation checked.
All right.
What's the next crucial factor in our decision-making process?
Transparency.
Okay.
This source emphasizes the importance of a provider being upfront about
Yeah.
their fee structure, the account setup process,
Right.
and their storage arrangements for your gold.
No one likes hidden fees or surprises,
Absolutely not.
especially when it comes to their retirement savings.
Exactly. You should be able to find clear information about their fees on their website or by contacting them directly.
Right.
A reputable provider won't shy away from answering those questions.
Makes sense. Speaking of communication,
Yeah.
this source also stresses the importance of good customer service, right?
Absolutely.
You're not just buying a product here.
Right.
You're forming a long-term partnership with this provider.
Exactly.
You want to feel confident that they'll be responsive, knowledgeable, and able to address your concerns every step of the way.
That's right.
It's like having a financial ally in your corner,
Yeah.
someone you can trust
I like that.
to guide you through the complexities of a gold IRA.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And speaking of guidance,
Yeah.
let's move on to another critical aspect.
Okay.
Scrutinizing the custodian and depository options.
Ah, yes, the dynamic duo responsible for safeguarding those precious metals.
That's right.
Remind us again, what are their roles exactly?
The custodian is the financial institution
Okay.
that holds your gold IRA
Mm.
account and handles administrative tasks like reporting to the IRS.
Right.
The depository is the secure facility
Got it.
where your physical gold is stored.
So like a bank vault for your gold?
Yeah, you could say that.
I'm picturing Fort Knox level security here.
While it might not be Fort Knox,
Okay.
this source emphasizes that both the custodian and depository should be IRS approved
Got it.
and adhere to the highest security standards.
It's reassuring to know that there are multiple layers of protection
It is.
in place for those tangible assets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a reputable provider will be transparent about who they partner with for both custody and storage.
The source also dives into some frequently asked questions about gold IRAs, which I think is super helpful for anyone considering this option.
Yeah, it's one thing to understand the broad strokes,
Right.
but then the practical questions start to pop up.
Exactly. Things like, how much should I invest?
Right.
What type of gold can I hold? Can I store it at home?
Yeah, all those nitty-gritty details.
All those nitty-gritty details. Let's tackle some of these FAQs head on.
Sounds good.
Let's start with that last one.
Okay.
Can you store your gold IRA gold at home?
I'm afraid the answer is a resounding no.
No gleaming stacks of gold bars on the coffee table.
As tempting as that might be.
Okay.
The IRS mandates that all gold IRA assets be held
Right.
in an approved depository for security and accountability purposes.
Right. Rules are rules.
They are.
What about how much to invest? Is there a magic number?
The source wisely points out
Yeah.
that it depends entirely on your individual financial situation,
Okay.
your risk tolerance, and your overall retirement goals.
Right.
There's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Of course, everyone's financial journey is unique.
Right.
But are there any general guidelines or starting points?
Many financial advisors recommend allocating
Yeah.
a small percentage of your retirement savings to gold,
Okay.
maybe 5 to 10%,
Got it.
as a way to diversify your portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
You can always adjust that allocation over time as needed.
Got it. Start small, see how it goes,
Exactly.
and adjust your strategy accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm curious about the types of gold that qualify
Okay.
for a gold IRA. Is it any gold,
Right.
or are there specific requirements?
The IRS does have purity and fineness standards
Okay.
for gold included in the gold IRA.
Right.
It must meet certain weight and purity criteria
Mm-hmm.
to ensure its value and authenticity.
So I can't just melt down my grandma's old jewelry.
Uh-huh.
Right not.
And call it a day.
The source mentions specific gold coins and bars
Okay.
that are typically accepted for gold IRAs,
Right.
like American Gold Eagles, Canadian Gold Maple Leafs,
Interesting.
and gold bars from reputable mints. So there's a whole world of gold bullion and coinage out there.
There is.
That's fascinating.
It is.
But let's be realistic.
Okay.
What about early withdrawals?
Right.
We all know that traditional IRAs come with penalties
They do.
for withdrawing money before retirement age.
Right.
Does the same apply to gold IRAs?
The short answer is yes.
Okay.
The same early withdrawal penalties apply
Okay.
to gold IRAs as they do to traditional IRAs.
Mm-hmm.
If you withdraw funds before age 59 and a half,
Right.
you'll generally face a 10% penalty
Wow.
on top of regular income taxes.
So it's best to think of a gold IRA as a long-term investment,
I think so.
something you'll tap into
Right.
once you reach retirement.
Exactly. While there are a few exceptions
Okay.
for hardship withdrawals,
Mm-hmm.
it's generally wise to let your gold IRA grow undisturbed
Yeah.
until you reach retirement age.
Speaking of long-term planning,
Yeah.
what if someone already has a traditional IRA or 401k?
Right.
Can they move those funds into a gold IRA?
This is where the concept of a rollover comes in.
Okay.
This source explains that you can transfer funds
Mm-hmm.
from an existing traditional IRA or 401k
Okay.
into a gold IRA without incurring any tax penalties.
That's good to know.
It is.
So you can essentially convert a portion of your existing retirement savings into gold
Right.
if you decide it aligns with your investment strategy.
Exactly. It provides flexibility
Okay.
and allows you to tailor your portfolio
Right.
to your specific needs and risk tolerance.
Flexibility is always a good thing,
It is.
especially when it comes to something as important as retirement planning.
Right.
We've covered a lot of ground here,
We have.
from choosing a provider to understanding rollovers and early withdrawal penalties.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one more area
Okay.
this source delves into
Right.
that I think is particularly interesting:
What's that?
the historical performance of gold.
You're right. That's an important piece of the puzzle. Understanding how gold has performed in the past, particularly during periods of economic uncertainty, can provide valuable insights for investors considering a gold IRA. Let's take a closer look at that next.
Lead the way. I'm ready to travel back in time with you.
Let's do it.
All right. So we have explored the ins and outs of gold IRAs, from choosing a provider to understanding the rules and regulations. But to truly grasp the potential of gold in a retirement portfolio,
Right.
I think we need to take a trip down memory lane.
I agree.
Examine gold's historical performance, especially during times of economic turmoil, can offer valuable perspective for anyone considering a gold IRA.
Definitely.
This source you've provided delves into some
It does.
fascinating historical data.
Yeah.
What are some of the key takeaways that jumped out at you?
Well, one of the most striking insights is gold's resilience
Okay.
during periods of high inflation.
Okay.
Take the 1970s, for example.
Well, yeah.
U.S. was grappling with stagflation, and the stock market was in a slump.
Mm-hmm.
But gold thrived.
It's like gold was doing the disco while the stock market was stuck in a slow dance.
Haha. That's a great analogy.
And this wasn't just a fluke, right?
Right. If you look at other historical periods of economic uncertainty, wars, recessions, geopolitical crises,
Right.
gold often held its value
Wow.
and sometimes even appreciated,
Okay.
while other assets floundered.
So it's like that reliable friend
Yeah.
who's always there for you when things get rough.
Exactly. And this historical resilience is a key reason why many investors consider gold a safe haven asset.
Okay.
It's not just about potential growth.
Right.
It's about preserving wealth during uncertain times.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But let's be honest,
Okay.
the past doesn't always predict the future, right?
That's true.
How does gold's historical performance translate
Yeah.
to today's complex financial landscape?
That's a valid question.
Yeah.
While the past can offer insights, it's
Yeah.
not a crystal ball.
Of course.
But the fundamental drivers of gold's value,
Okay.
its scarcity, its tangibility, its historical significance,
Right.
those haven't changed.
So even in our digital age,
Yeah.
gold still holds its allure as a tangible asset
It does.
with intrinsic value.
Precisely. And in a world where many assets are tied
Yeah.
to complex financial systems and subject to rapid fluctuations,
Yeah.
that tangibility can offer a sense of security and stability.
Right.
That's hard to replicate.
I think that's a key takeaway for our listener.
I agree.
A gold IRA isn't just about chasing returns. It's about building a resilient retirement portfolio
Right?
that can weather economic storms.
Absolutely. It's about diversification,
Yeah.
risk management, and preserving wealth for the long haul.
Well, this deep dive has been an incredible journey.
It has.
We've explored the mechanics of gold IRAs,
We have.
debunked some common myths,
You did.
and even traveled back in time to understand gold's historical significance.
It's been fascinating to unpack this topic with you.
So what does this all mean for our listener?
Right.
Is a gold IRA the right fit for everyone?
That's a question only they can answer
Right.
based on their individual financial situation,
Of course.
risk tolerance, and long-term goals.
Exactly. But what we've done here is equip them with the knowledge to make an informed decision.
That's right.
A gold IRA might not be the right move for everyone,
True.
but it's certainly a valuable tool to consider as part of a diversified retirement plan,
It is.
especially for those seeking stability and protection
Yeah.
against potential economic headwinds.
I completely agree. And remember, knowledge is power. The more you understand about different investment options,
Right.
the better prepared you'll be to navigate
Yeah,
the complexities of retirement planning
for sure.
and create a secure financial future for yourself.
Beautifully said. This deep dive has given our listener A solid foundation on gold IRAs.
Yeah.
If this has piqued your interest,
Mm-hmm.
I encourage you to do some additional research.
Yeah.
Explore those reputable providers we discussed.
Yes.
And perhaps even consult a financial advisor
That's a great idea.
to see how a gold IRA might fit into your overall retirement strategy.
Your future self will thank you for it.
And on that note, we'll leave you with one final thought to ponder.
Okay.
If gold has stood the test of time as a store of value for centuries, could its role in a modern retirement portfolio be more than just a passing trend?
That's a question worth pondering indeed.
Until next time, happy